have designed the seminar in a manner which would allow teachers and students to upgrade their skills related to research with the hope to invigorate the researcher in each one of us. We are fortunate to have with us our principal, Professor S.P. Agarwal, our chief guests, Professor Girishwar Mishra and Professor Anand Prakash. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my gratitude to all of you for having agreed to grace the occasion by your kind presence. We are thankful Almighty for providing us this opportunity. I also welcome some of the resource persons who have joined us, Dr. Ashwini Kumar. Moving on, I welcome Dr. Shalini Sharma, the convener of the program. The seminar has been outlined under her guidance. I would like to now invite her to address the audience and dignitaries.
Thank you, Rose. I hope I am audible.
Yes, Shalini, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good morning to our respected principal, sir, our esteemed guest, Professor Girishwar Mishra, sir, Professor Anand Prakash, sir, my dear colleagues and participants of the seminar. I extend a very warm welcome to you on behalf of the Department of Applied Psychology, Ramanujan College. The idea of the seminar on research and data analysis was conceptualized and driven by the compelling need in the present times for doing research at all levels of academics and especially at the students level. Doing research is no more an option available to us. It's not a choice, but the necessity of our times. And doing good research requires us to know the mistakes which we usually commit at different stages of the research process. The knowledge about various tools available for data collection and analysis and the skills for using them wisely for our own research. This is really, really important in the present times. The target population for this seminar was students, but as it is said, there is a student in every teacher. So some of the teachers have also registered for it. The objectives of the seminar are twofold: to give our participants the knowledge of those topics and research softwares which are not emphasized in our curriculum. And secondly, trying to hone the skills of the participants related to topics like literature review, data analysis, and writing for publication. Now, being a two-day seminar, we are not very ambitious and are not claiming here on any kind of mastery or complete learning. But the goal here is to provide an insight into these topics and to kindle a drive and curiosity for doing meaningful research. I hope by the end of the seminar, we are successful in meeting our goals. And I'm really grateful and honored that Mishra sir and Anand sir have accepted our invitation. It is really kind and humble of you, sirs, to be here and bless us with your presence and pearls of wisdom. Thank you so much again, sir, for being here. So with this, over to you, Rose.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, you're able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry there is some kind of a network problem from my side. So thank you for so much. Thank you for confirming that, ma'am, and principal sir. Thank you, ma'am, for giving that note on behalf of the complete organizing team. Moving on. Ramanujan College derives its soul from the infectious zeal and dynamic leadership of our respected principal, Professor S.P. Agarwal. His support and vision has been instrumental in the growth of the college. I humbly request Principal Sir to address the gathering and to set the stage for formal beginning of the program. Sir.
Thank you, Rose. Thank you very much for organizing this program. I always say that I am one of you. Please do not welcome me. I'm part of this system. So we should welcome our guests. That is very important, but not me. Thank you. Good morning, and once again, welcome to our highly esteemed dignitaries, especially Professor Mishra, who is one of the best psychologists in the world, Professor Anand Prakash, another great giant, and all my colleagues from psychology department, other colleagues who have joined this program, and the participants who have joined us in large numbers on this program on research and data analysis. Friends, Ramanujan College is really very fortunate that whatever we do, of course, we plan it very meticulously, but we get very good response. And not only from participants, but also from the who's who in the world. See, whomsoever we wish that he should be invited or she should be invited, they are available for us. So we are really very fortunate, in this regard. And as you know that we organize a lot of programs, always, 4 or 5 programs at a time, keep on going for teachers training under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission for Teachers and Teaching. And that is a mission, which we have taken up. And, we have already reached to 150,000 teachers. And those programs have really benefited the teachers, the students, and the society at large. Now, as regards research, I am not really competent to speak on the subject, which experts will speak, but briefly I can, say something that, see, today, whatever research is happening, of course, research is happening and it will continue to happen. And technology-driven research will take over, in next 10 years, this is for sure. But my always concern is that research should be meaningful. I mean, it should not be limited to books, limited to journals, and has no value to the society, no value to the people, no value to the environment, no value to any stakeholders of this research, So whatever we do, we should always look at the end of your activity, whether it is research, whether it is data analysis, whether you're teaching, learning, or anything. So my humble request to all the students and teachers is that they should think out the box. They should always think something new, that today I have learned this something different and I will share with my students, or student will say that I have learned this thing today and I will share with my teacher or with the class. So that kind of perspective is needed. I can give you an example. See, 2 days ago, we visited one industry, a very huge industry, Marino Industries. It's a lamination industry in Hapur. And Mr. Loya is a IIT engineer who is the owner of the industry. And I was amazed to see that industry. They are also running a, school, charitable school, free of cost for the neighborhood. Actually, I wanted to see that. Now, the kind of activity they are doing for the environment really fascinates, me as well as anybody in that state. See, he said, after taking round of 24 acres of, industry, you will yourself realize that he has taken the environment so seriously. And he says that his chimneys, because see, the lamination industry produces a lot of pollution, and his chimneys, whatever they are producing is better than outside air. So that kind of technology he has adopted. And he is doing, one another important thing, which this problem of burning of, the waste of wheat and rice. They are developing a technology. They are developing a technology through which this can be converted into a manure and can be used in the same fields. Now they have a special, they have developed a special chemical for that. And what they do is they crush everything together and then put it in sacks, put that chemical, and in next 20 days, it will become as manure. And this is so fertile that he has shown us that he has created jungles, the complete jungle, green jungle with that thing. So, why I'm giving you this example is that today, the society in India is facing various issues. And if we can take up small initiative, we always think too big. We are not interested in that. Small things, and those small things can create wonders. And we should start from our own. I mean, I'm not saying that we should preach and go ahead. No. Let us say we are working in a college. Let us start from there. If you as an independent start from your own home, whether it is environment, whether it is, the air or the water or anything, think of something which is a problem for the society, and especially large societal problems. So this is one thing. Another important thing is the data. See, always, we talk of research and data. Research is always data driven. Even earlier also, today, it has become more easier because technology has come forward to our, estimations. Whether it is a medical science, whether it is, any other area, humanities, commerce, management, the stock market, we always work or predict on the basis of data. See, that is the key element. And today, data analysis has become so simple that, various technologies like programs and machine learning, artificial intelligence makes to process large data very easily. And with the data, we can really predict everything or anything to the maximum extent, in the sense that it is almost equal to the truth. That is what, my feeling is. You see the COVID situations, people has been predicting. You see the share market, people are predicting based on the data. So what our objective with the students is that they should realize that whatever they do, it should be based on some scientific basis, and data is the best thing through which they can predict, they can do something meaningful for the society. So with this, once again, thank you very much, and welcome to our own Professor Mishra and Professor Anand Prakash. Thank you. Over to Rose.
Thank you so much, Principal Sir, for sharing with us your knowledge and your perspective on the relevance of problem identification and also the relevance of data, keeping in mind the societal problems. Thank you so much, sir, again. Let's proceed to the two highlights of the inaugural ceremony. Our first chief guest is a Fulbright scholar and has in the past served as the president of National Academy of Psychology. As Professor Anand Prakash has earlier mentioned, and also Principal Sir has earlier mentioned, he has recently been listed as one of the top 10 influential psychologists worldwide. He's considered as a central figure in Indian psychology. It is a matter of great privilege and honor to have Professor Girishwar Mishra as a part of this ceremony. We feel immensely inspired by your contributions to the field, sir. Previously, he was the Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi International Hindi University, Wardha, Maharashtra. He has also served as head of Department of Applied Psychology of Psychology, University of Delhi. Professor Mishra is a renowned academician with more than 40 years of teaching and research experience, and has worked extensively in social psychology, cultural and indigenous psychology. His expertise has been sought by many organizations, committees like NCERT, Indian Council of Social Science Research, and UGC. Without any further delay, I would humbly request Professor Mishra to enlighten us by his valuable insights. Sir.
Thank you, Rose. Professor Agrawal, Professor Prakash, Shalini, Dharmendra ji, Surabhi, and colleagues who have joined this very important initiative, I extend welcome to everyone. This program is meant for students. That is the primary audience, and I would like to share some of the thoughts about research and analysis, the theme that has been chosen for deliberation. Friends, it is very important to note that this program is part of a grand program which is being taken up by the Ramanujan College under the dynamic leadership of Professor Agrawal. I must mention that during his tenure as a chief of one of the important institutions of learning, he has given a new direction by creating opportunities for teachers, students through Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Teaching Learning Mission. And as we have learned that 250,000 teachers have participated in the various programs which have taken place. I congratulate Professor Agrawal for this very important service to society and particularly the domain of education.
Sir, it is 150,000.
It's always a pleasure to meet him and see how new ideas are taken by him, adopted by him, nurtured by him. So thank you very much. Thank you from my bottom of heart. You know, you are doing a great job.
Sir, just I'm correcting one thing. It is 150,000, not 250,000.
Okay.
Sir.
I stand corrected. But that's also not a joke. I don't find any other institution in India which has utilized this opportunity to share innovations and create an atmosphere of teaching and learning. Thank you very much. I think that research is coming up as a component of undergraduate teaching also, when we are going to have 4-year program. And it is very crucial to recognize that research is considered as a dependable mode of knowledge creation. So through research, we contribute to knowledge. To be more specific, the goal of research is just one: to contribute to theory building, to take steps, innovative steps to contribute to that domain. It is also important to note that in civilized world, there is continuous growth of knowledge, which requires a critical approach. You need to understand what has been done, and then you have to decide what has to be done. And you are placed at a particular moment where you link the past with future. I'm very happy to learn the kind of work which was mentioned by Professor Agrawal a few minutes back. What are the demands of contemporary situation? And there are attempts to bridge the gap. So the knowledge is being created and used to bridge the gap between the need of society and the knowledge which is available. So research has to be taken very seriously to respect the concerns of society, concerns of humanity. It is not only research for the sake of research. Let me be very clear about it, that knowledge is something very great. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. There is nothing as pious. इससे पवित्र कोई चीज दुनिया में है नहीं. And this word pavitra says so many things. research is disciplined inquiry. We have curiosity, we have creativity, we have power to question, and research is blending of all these three. There is one more component, and that is reflexivity. That you need to understand, you need to relate. Psychology has a major role for organizing research activity in human domain. As a matter of fact, it has something to offer to all kinds of research in all the domains, because human beings are involved in conducting research, whether you are working with a metal or whether you are working with human beings. I'm not going to that. I will restrict myself to the domain of psychology. So, curiosity, creativity, questioning, and reflection, they provide the backbone of research. You must have curiosity. You want to know something. You have a question in your mind, and that question may have taken place in the context of your immediate life, or while you are reading some work and then you find, oh, I don't understand it. What is the nature of this phenomenon? How to explore that? So a questioning mind is something which is essential to undertake research. But in the beginning, I mentioned that research is disciplined inquiry. It is not mere inquiry. It is not any kind of inquiry. There are people sitting on the road where एक आदमी बैठ के और वो अपने पास एक तोता रखता है और बहुत सारे किताबों के पन्ने होते हैं, और वो तोते से वो पन्ना निकलवाता है और आपका भविष्य बता देता है कि आपकी लाइफ में क्या होने वाला है. That is also one kind of thing which may be considered as creation of knowledge. Well, research is disciplined inquiry. It has to survive, grow in certain kind of framework. As a matter of fact, when I learned about this theme of research and analysis, and when Shalini requested me to share some of my thoughts, I thought that there are some vocations in life where this is used, research is used. मुझे कुछ vocation याद आए. For example, एक है जो कि CID का काम है, which connects evidence, which analyzes the evidence, reaches to some kind of conclusion. Then I thought about, doctor who performs surgery, he has to see that certain temperature has to be maintained, BP इतना होना चाहिए, blood pressure इतना होना चाहिए. A number of tests are done, physiological tests, to see that what is the condition of patient. You have to monitor that, and then you perform surgery and you see that there is a effect of that or not, how to do it. Very careful arrangement is required. There are liver transplants and heart transplants. You see the progress that has taken place. So research has been used in that. And while doing surgery, you are engaged in something very close to research. Then there is another kind of vocation which comes to my mind, a traveler who goes to a new place. वाह, कहाँ पहुँच गए, इटली में पहुँच गए या कहीं आप न्यूयॉर्क में पहुँच गए, कहीं भी पहुँच गए या रानीखेत पहुँच गए. You have reached there for the first time. Now you want to explore it. वहाँ पे क्या क्या है, मौसम कैसा है, कैसे रहना ना. So curiosity is there. Finally, I find another vocation, that is a writer, a poet, who does thought experiments. अपने मन में वो सोचता है. प्रेमचंद की कहानियां आप पढ़िए, छोटी सी चीज लेकर के, एक चिमटे को लेकर के उन्होंने कहानी लिख दी, दिगा हम सबने पढ़ी होगी. And see how he creates a structure and there is whole series of events. So there are people who are engaged in some kind of research. But as a student of psychology or any discipline, we have to do all these things in a disciplined way. It's very important. Finally, there is one more thing which I want to say, and that is game. क्रिकेट का गेम खेल होता है, आप देख रहे हैं, तो उसमें कभी कोई आउट हो जाता है, कोई छक्का लगाता है, कोई चौका लगाता है, you see. And what is important is you don't know the final outcome. You have to play the game under certain rules, and the outcome may be anything. कभी इंग्लैंड जीत गया तो कभी इंडिया जीत गया, अभी का मैच जो होगा. अब आप देखो, you see what happens. You play the game under certain restrictions. कि ऐसे आप करेंगे तो ठीक, ऐसे करेंगे तो ठीक नहीं है. So research is also a game which you play with certain rules. You are free to play the game. You are free to take steps which are permitted within that. And there may be outcome which is an emergent reality. You did not know what is going to happen. You need to welcome that. But research is always done with certain kind of discipline. हम जब रिसर्च मेथड पढ़ाते हैं तो हमारी कोशिश यही होती है कि उस डिसिप्लिन को आपके अंदर हम खड़ा करें, so that you are able to play the game effectively, efficiently, with a vision, so that you achieve the goal with which you have started. Finally, I would like to mention that in the entire research process, two things always happen. In philosophy, we use deduction and induction. From theory, you deduce certain hypotheses and you test that. And from data, there is induction. You derive certain laws and certain principles. तो theory और data के बीच में एक dialogue चलता रहता है. Keep that in mind. And there are also rules about what can be deduced. Induction और deduction के भी अपने नियम है, कायदे कानून है, what is allowed and what is not allowed. How you move in the process of data collection and how you use that. It's a very difficult path, I must tell you. And particularly when you talk about psychology, it becomes much more difficult. Because in psychology, we deal with a continuum. On the one continuum, it is totally subjective. On the other continuum, it is highly objective. And you move within that dimension or continuum, जो भी आप कह लीजिए, subjectivity से objectivity के. और कभी-कभी मुझे लगता है कि पूरी साइकोलॉजी जो अब तक की हो रही है, वो you are objectifying what is happening in your mind, your thoughts, your desires, motives, interests, values. They are being approached, and they are being approached in such a way that they become accessible through various kinds of techniques. Let me say that again, it's a great game. How you are transforming that, research comes to your rescue. It helps you to do that, but it's a very difficult job. And most of us understand this, that psychology has many languages. You can talk in neuropsychological terms, social psychological terms, cognitive psychological terms. So there are different kinds of, language that you need to learn that language and that concept. And it is very important to recognize that all these languages need to be comprehended in such a way that there is not confusion. Why I am saying this, that many of us use some concepts from one language and relate it to another language, whether they are commensurate or not, it becomes very difficult. If you try to look into it, you will find the difficulty. I don't want to complicate my talk, but I must share that there is an interesting book by Sternberg, a person who does work in intelligence. And the title of the book is Metaphors of Mind. You have different metaphors. You really don't know. With the help of the metaphor, you develop a story, you develop a theory, you develop an account. So if you subscribe one metaphor, then reality is understood according to that. If you subscribe to another metaphor, the understanding will be very different. Freud offers one kind of metaphor in psychoanalysis, which is very different from the metaphor and theory and all conceptualization found in behaviorism or humanism or other kinds of dialogue which is coming up. More recently, cognitive psychologists and cognitive scientists, they have taken lead and they are giving so many things to us. So my request is to understand those concepts and use them within the framework, within one kind of language, within one kind of paradigm. And it is not easy to shift, to mix, to blend different paradigms. And that has been creating a lot of problem. We take liberty. So that is very difficult. I look forward to the deliberation which is taking place. As a researcher, we also note that much of our research effort has been organized, and still it is being organized within a framework called positivism. And that is something which is considered as the mainstream framework. And with the help of people like Professor Anand Prakash and many other colleagues, there has been a gradual shift which tries to respect subjectivity and meaning rather than numbers. Again, that is a difficult job. So there is a movement towards use of qualitative methods. So the techniques have expanded and they are now allowing us to understand different shades of data, different kinds of questions. To me, it seems that there will also be one more addition, and that is when you take first person accounts. You know yourself and you reflect on that and you share that. So that is one level. And then you observe another person's behavior. So there are different shades of engagement by psychologists. I'm sure that the agenda that has been set by Dr. Shalini will allow us and whole group to face the music. Why I am saying is this, because the music has many, it's a kind of a symphony and you have different kinds of musical instruments. You have a variety of things. You are going to do quantitative analysis, and within that also there are different levels of analysis. And then you have qualitative methods which are available for understanding various psychological phenomena. My best wishes to Dr. Shalini and his team. And I again congratulate Professor Agrawal for taking this initiative and providing a helping hand to these young people so that they can play the game of science. They can play with teaching and learning within certain rules. He's a strict disciplinarian, I know it. And at the same time, he allows people to take freedom with ideas, good ideas. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your
Thank you.
Intellectual
much, sir.
lecture, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, Shalini, go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir, Kirishwar sir, for your enriching perspective and the need for having various characteristics in order to pursue research. For example, disciplined inquiry, curiosity, creativity, and the need to question and reflect. We consider ourselves really fortunate to have you amongst us, sir. Thank you so much again. Our next chief guest has more than 30 years of teaching experience in premier universities across India. With heartfelt gratitude and joy, I kindly invite Senior Professor Anand Prakash, who has made myriad contributions to the field of psychology. Owing to working more than 10 years as professor, he has recently undertaken academic and teaching projects as senior professor. We congratulate you, sir, for the same. Professor Prakash is the former head of Department of Psychology, University of Delhi. He has been the recipient of the Young Scientist Award by Indian Science Congress and a Fulbright Scholar. He has published numerous books, research papers, and articles in journals of national and international repute. Behavioral management, language, literature are some of his interest areas. His vast expertise in organizational psychology has been a guiding light for top companies of India, where he undertook training and consulting assignments. In his pursuit towards quality education, Professor Prakash assumed the role of member in various institutions such as UGC, CBSE, IQAC of NAC, and as a member of Task Force for Ministry of Education, to name a few. I kindly request Anand Prakash, sir, to address the gathering and share his reflections on the topic. Sir.
थैंक यू रोज गुरवाल साहब रोज ने मेरा जो इंट्रोडक्शन दिया है वो इस बात का प्रमाण है कि हमारा रामानुजन कॉलेज से संबंध कितना पुराना है। अभी भी मैं
इसमें कोई शक नहीं है सर।
अभी भी मेरे परिचय में 30 साल टीचिंग एक्सपीरियंस है, जबकि एक्चुअली मैंने अभी 44 कंप्लीट किया है। ये बताता है कि हमारा आपसे रिश्ता कितने दिनों का है और कितना गहरा। अभी भी हम 30 की उम्र में ठहरे हुए आपके पास। I will ever be youthful as far as your college is concerned. Respected esteemed Professor Mishra, my teacher and guru, Professor Agarwal, principal and a visionary leader who has taken the college from strength to strength. Shalini, Sharma, Ashwini, Rose, and many other, I could see many, now colleagues, but there was a time when they were all students of the department. And it's a great visual to see that how students transforming and becoming your collaborator into endeavors of knowledge and pursuits of research. And all the members who have logged in for this 2 days seminar, so creatively visualized. Speaking after Professor Mishra reminds me of either I am a very adventurous person or my IQ is very low. And I think I am both. I am taking the risk of speaking after Professor Mishra, not knowing how many of them would be willing to listen. And I must be having low IQ, otherwise I should have run away from this seminar. What I'm going to share, there is hardly any point that I can add to what Professor Mishra has already established. But I see research, why research and why research is important. I think that has been, the importance has already been established. पर मेरा रिसर्च के बारे में मानना ये है, और मैं ये वो चीज़ें आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहता हूँ जो मैंने महसूस की हैं और जिसके बारे में थोड़ा विचार मेरे मन में आया है, क्योंकि रिसर्च की यात्रा के 44 वर्ष पूर्ण हो गए हैं. And what I have seen research, having supervised more than 35 PhDs and into this game of research with all possible practicality, theoretical, मेरा मानना ये है कि रिसर्च एक पैराडाइम है. रिसर्च इज अ पैराडाइम ऑफ लाइफ. इट इज अ वर्ल्ड व्यू. And this world view gives you opportunity to rise above the petty and the mundane. If you are a genuine researcher in your life, then you will not be bogged down by the petty categories like caste, socioeconomic status, position of a person, power, and different other kind of things, because you learn to live life as an academic person. Yourself become very academic. The making of the cell becomes academic. We start seeing things in a very, very different way. So it's a paradigm. And if this paradigm gets initiated as early as undergraduate level, there cannot be a better thing than this. So people should be introduced, students should introduce this kind of paradigm right at the early stage of higher education beginning, career beginning. रिसर्च का मतलब है कि रिसर्च करने वाला वो सब कुछ देखता है जो बाकी लोग भी देखते हैं, लेकिन एक रिसर्चर जो है वो सोचता है जो किसी और ने नहीं सोचा था. न्यूटन की तरह से सेब गिरते बहुत सारे लोगों ने देखा था. सबने देखा कि सेब ऊपर से नीचे ही गिरता है, पर किसी ने ये नहीं सोचा कि क्यों गिरता है. ये सोचने का काम ये रिसर्चर का काम है. सब लोग टब में घुसते हैं तो पानी ऊपर जाता है, पर पानी कैसे डिस्प्लेस होता है ये देखने का काम आर्किमिडीज ने किया था. तो दिखता सबको एक जैसी हो कोई घटना, पर सोचने वाला डिफरेंट हो जाए, उसकी व्याख्या देने वाला डिफरेंट हो जाए, यहीं से रिसर्च की यात्रा शुरू हो जाती है कि ऐसा क्यों हुआ. प्रोफेसर मिश्रा ने कहा क्यूरियोसिटी. सो एवरीबडी इज सीइंग व्हाट एवरीबडी एल्स इज सीइंग, but a researcher is thinking very differently than what. This is the one very important point of a time. And look at the research. मैं सोचता हूँ कभी कभी रिसर्च की शुरुआत हुई कैसे होगी, किसने सबसे पहले, जैसे कहते हैं ना कविता में कि वियोगी होगा पहला कवि, तो रिसर्च की शुरुआत किसने की. और मुझे लगा कि रिसर्च की शुरुआत मानव सभ्यता के प्रारंभ में कथाओं से हुई होगी, कहानियों से हुई होगी, और ये कहानियां नितांत लोकल रही होंगी, स्थानीय कहानियां रही होंगी. पहाड़ या नदी आपने पार कर लिया तो कहानियां बदल जाती होंगी, पर जैसे अनुभवों को समेटने का माध्यम और उसको दूसरी पीढ़ी तक पहुंचाने का माध्यम स्टोरीज हैं, कहानीज हैं. स्टोरीज आर द मीडियम बाय विच द कलेक्टिव एक्सपीरियंसेस आर coded and put into an interesting framework to be transmitted to the members of next generation, so that next generation members are benefited by those stories, benefited by experience of the elders. That is what. और ये अगर रिसर्च का इतिहास उठा करके देखें तो 70,000 साल पहले, ऐसा मानते हैं जो इसके विचारक हैं, 70,000 साल पहले जब कॉग्निटिव रिवोल्यूशन की शुरुआत मानी जाती है, मनुष्य के सोचने, समझने और कल्पना करने की क्षमताएं विकसित होने लगी, तब उसने ये अपने इमेजिनेशन को, अपनी कल्पना करने की शक्ति को पहचानना प्रारंभ किया. और इसका जो काल निर्धारण इतिहासकार करते हैं वो 70,000 साल पहले करते हैं. और ये कहानियों ने और इस कल्पनाओं ने कोऑपरेशन की शुरुआत की समाज में. दे क्रिएटेड कोऑपरेशन इन द सोसाइटी. नहीं तो मनुष्य शिकार करता था और खाता था, मैं वहां से बात कर रहा हूं. एंड दिस कोऑपरेशन वाज फर्दर स्ट्रेंथेंड बाय द इमर्जेंस ऑफ एग्रीकल्चरल सोसाइटी. और एग्रीकल्चरल सोसाइटी जब आ गई और हमने अन्न की सुरक्षा से मुक्ति प्राप्त कर ली, अन्न भोजन की सुरक्षा से मुक्त हुए, तो ये क्योंकि तब ज्यादा लोगों का हम खाना बना सकते थे, तब सेनाएं बनाने लगे, राज्य बनने लगे, बहुत सारे तरह की कल्पनाएं हुई. और यहीं से मनुष्य के समृद्धि की शुरुआत मानी जाती है. और इसी को माना जाता है कि दिस इज आल्सो टेकन एज ए बिगिनिंग ऑफ ए रिसर्च, एंड दैट इज हाउ द रिसर्च हैज टू मूव अहेड. So research is what? Research is a process by which experience is converted into data, data is processed into information, information is converted into knowledge, and knowledge becomes wisdom to take decisions in human life. So it is this kind of sequential arrangement which is created by research. So any discrete event, any discrete experience can be taken as a data. Anything is a data. But when this data is put in certain formation, in plus formation, information, that is what the meaning of in, when it is organized in certain patterns. In plus formation is information. When it is organized in certain patterns, and then this patterns starts coming close to the human experience, and then it becomes the knowledge. And this knowledge, when it acquires the capacity to become the basis of decision making, then only it is a wisdom. So next time anybody asking you a question, how do you differentiate between data, information, knowledge, and wisdom? Now you know that this all can be differentiated within the perspective of a research. So research is a process, research is a game of converting data, human experience into data, and data into information, information brought close to the human experience, and this experience is good enough to make certain decisions. And the entire realm of research process, whether it is a revolution of the technology, healthcare, right, defense, anything that you mention, all this process have gone through these sequences of these steps, which we call research. Research certainly pass through these two stages. One, the fundamental research and the application oriented research, about which Professor Mishra and Professor Agarwal, they have already talked about how this research can be taken it up into that. If you look at the beginning of it, and there are various ways of a research, I would like to bring here the three very important perspectives of looking at the research. Earlier research was taken more in terms of scriptures and apt vachan of rishis and gurus combined with the logic. That was the first approach to the research. Scriptures into logic. That was the research. That's the human being have taken it up. Then came the second stage, and this was taken as a knowledge. Who was considered knowledgeable? Who has the knowledge of scriptures? Who is living into the company of great rishis and thinkers, seers and thinkers, and who can also cobble up, create certain kind of a logic, then they were considered knowledgeable. Then the second phase of knowledge came, and the second phase of knowledge was that knowledge is equal to empirical data into mathematics. This is the second stage of the research. So there has to be empirical data, and I think Dr. Shalini has already organized data analysis, and I could say the name of Resource Security. They're very competent people. They will tell you that how data is converted into a meaningful, right, object, and the process of creating meaning is the research. When you convert data into meaning, which is tangible, which is intelligible, which is understandable to us, then we call it that this is what the knowledge is. So knowledge, the primary, and for a very long time, the knowledge was taken. In fact, today it is one of the established paradigms that the empirical data means which has been collected by the human senses. Empiricism. I don't want to go into the philosophy of empiricism, where it was said that mind is a tabula rasa, and where sensation and perceptions create certain kind of a meaning in human life. This was the second dimension of research. That was the third phase, and we are into the third phase of a research that we will have to remember, right? The third phase is knowledge is taken equivalent to experience, converted into data. This data is combined with the human emotions. Look here, the pandemic in the record time into the human history has created vaccine. And Dr. Agarwal and those who have been senior enough to know that never ever in the human history vaccination has been created in 1.5 years or 13, 14 months. And this has happened because of the power of a research. And now we all are breathing relatively, right, liberated and free. We have a smile on our faces. And for almost 2 years, we have lived a very constricted, and I don't want to use word, constipated life. But because of the research, we could come out with the vaccine who has given us, if not a total protection, at least reasonable amount of immunity and protection. And that has, because the knowledge is the true knowledge when the empirical data experience is combined with emotions and thought. So look here, the billions of people, emotions, energy got invested into creating a vaccine. And now we have the whole civilization and more than a dozen vaccines on this earth. And sometimes we wonder, oh my God, what a research can create miracles. And it's not only given us a confidence that we allow injections to go inside our body. It's a very, very great innovation in our body. Normally we, but we have given that kind of a credit to the research, that is the research. So finally, anything that you want to do research combined with the mathematics, also bring a lot of emotions and thought into it, then only it will qualify to be called a legitimate, valid and useful research. And that is what, because the human life changes gradually and changes for good, only because of the research it is possible. Whatever good things happen in human life, whatever bad things happen in human life, by and large, they are the derivatives and outcomes of the sincere research effort made all across the world and country. If I quote, very famous scholar Humboldt, you all have named the German scholar Humboldt, who says that the aim of modern is distillation of widest experience of life into wisdom. That is the ultimate experience. And how do we achieve at that point of time? How do we develop that insight where decision making is based on our understanding? डॉक्टर जज द डिसीजन मेकिंग कि आपकी तो सर्जरी होगी, या प्रोफेसर मिश्रा ने भी जिक्र किया कि आपका हार्ट प्लांट होगा, लीवर आपका जो है वो चेंज किया जाएगा. दैट डिसीजन इज बीइंग टेकन. हु हैज गिवन हिम द अथॉरिटी? His expertise from where it has come? It has come from the research. And so my first message to all the students seeking here, if you want to earn respect, if you want to earn dignity, develop a world view of a researcher. Practically, believe me, no one comes to us from the world of practice without a problem for research. Nobody is going to come to me say that आप बहुत बड़े स्कॉलर हैं तो आप ये काम करिए. वो काम तब लेके आएगा जब उसकी कोई प्रॉब्लम साधारण तरीकों से हल नहीं हो रही हो. मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल बताता हूँ कि हाउ दिस प्रैक्टिकल रिसर्च इज बीइंग डन. I was approached way back, I think 15 years ago in 2003 and 4 by World Health Organization. And one of the person called me, he said that can we meet? I said, who wants to meet me? He said, I am speaking on behalf of the country CEO, Kim Farley, Robert Kim Farley. I said, yes, what for? He said, you want to have a discussion about certain kind of a thing. I said, all right. WHO is a big name, and I felt very, very, excited to meet the top guy of the WHO. So I went for a meeting with him, and he said, tell me, he said, you are a professor of psychology, and you have been, taken as an organizational psychologist who handles realities of the ICDS. He said, I have 160 employees in my organization in India, WHO, at various regional offices. And there are few people from the Geneva traveling here, senior guys. And I want to create a vision for the new century for the WHO. And I want you to give me a proposal and a program that how in one go, in a 3 days workshop, the vision for WHO India can be created. Look at the range of the people, right from messenger. They call their peons messenger. Right from messenger to the top guy CEO participating in one. Messengers can't speak Hindi, right? And they have a limited vocabulary and a language. And ladies and gentlemen traveling from Geneva, they will only speak very anglicized, westernized kind of language. And he was expecting me to handle this situation in one go, sitting in the same hall together, and I create a workshop model. Because of the research confidence that I had developed by the time, I said, I think it would be possible, because the biggest barricade is the communication. So we will think of a device, and we will think of a communication mechanism which can be common and same to all. It will not use a language. So I am going to use a communication device which would not be a language, but it will be language of something else. It will be language of a drawing. It will be language of photographs. It will be language of colors, which do not require words, because people differ in terms of use of the words. But in terms of using the drawings and others, you don't require word, and everybody capable of it. And because of only this, I started working on it. I worked for 1 month and gave them a proposal that how I'm going to be designing sessions, what kind of communication will take place, how the data would be collected, how data would be processed, and how data would be converted into a meaningful whole, which will be called a vision statement. This was only, so my point I'm trying to make is very simple. If you want to be respected and custodian of a higher एजुकेशन डिग्री होल्डर, आप उच्च शिक्षा के वाकई अधिकारी तभी होंगे, आपका सम्मान तभी किया जाएगा जब समाज की अनबूझी समस्याओं को आप हल करने के लिए रिसर्च का पैराडाइम यूज करना जान जाएंगे. then only you would be respected. Believe me, a time is going to come, and time is already knocking on the doors, and I can see Professor Agarwal agreeing with me that anybody who is not, and look at the way Europe and America, my role as a Dean International Relations, gave me opportunity to travel all across. They have such a strong program, and I think Ramanujan College has already taken that, which called the ECRs, Early Career Researchers, where they identify the talented students who are studying in undergraduate. They have a research idea, they have a research paper, publications. They are given opportunity to interact with the top minds in the same area all across the globe. And this is a facility only available to undergraduate students, which of course include postgraduate and the young teachers, but they are looking for young career researchers. They are called early career researchers, ECRs, the technical term. And if you log into ECR, you will get a lot of information. Erasmus, has multiple programs on this. U21 network as a World University ranking system also has a program for early career researcher, because worldwide there is a craving, and craving may be coming from the forces of the market for product innovation, for product development, for thinking out of the box, but they all are visualizing the panacea for all the challenges lies into research. I don't want to go into the history of research into a different kind, where it all began, the academy industry interface way back in Stanford University. But this is how the problem. So people are going to come to us for solving a problem for which there are no ready-made solutions available. If there are ready-made solutions available, nobody is going to come to you. They will come to you only for unprecedented problems, right? For which even formulating a hypothesis, taking up a research, doing a data analysis is not going to be easy, because you will have to think, you will have to imagine, you have to apply your most potent, unused energy to solve a problem, and I think then the research will get respected. इसका देश की समृद्धि से कोई लेना देना नहीं. आपको डेटा बता दूं, मिडिल ईस्ट बहुत समृद्ध देश है, पर आज तक एक इनोवेटिव प्रोडक्ट वहां से नहीं निकला है. कुवैत सबसे समृद्ध देशों में से एक है, वहां से कोई भी एक इनोवेटिव प्रोडक्ट नहीं निकला है. प्रोडक्ट वहां से निकल रहे हैं जहां थोड़े संघर्ष हैं, जहां थोड़ी कठिनाई है. आप रिसर्च करने के लिए मत सोचिए कि बहुत शानदार लाइब्रेरी और बहुत जानदार लेबोरेटरी जिस दिन हमारे पास हो जाएगी, हम रिसर्च कर देंगे, सॉरी, look at the innovative products. Yes, at certain stage you may be requiring it, but for initial you will find that moderate facility with great deal of motivation and the personal insight, a combination of this will produce a research, and if you take it up, I think you are going to make a difference. Like, you know, the eco-friendly research that Dr. Agrawal talked about, right? That how we can do a research, and I felt that research inevitably is very generous in terms of accommodating. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya. If you truly become, you know, researcher, you always take the larger masses within your own fold. When you're thinking of creating a microwave and creating mobile, you are not only thinking of only the privilege and the now everybody the affordance, you know, but the technology is not. It is only human being which make these kind of differences. Innovations and research do not make. Yes, in the early stage of innovation and research, it remains accessible to people with privileges. Only, you know, it takes time, but if it is not you know, being taken time, like people are decoding genetic makeup kind of a thing to find the formula for immortality. But the social scientists have to think, and there is a debate going on. If the human beings are able to decode, right, the mysteries of death and ensure nobody dies, what will happen to the society? And who can afford to remain immortal? Will this earth be livable? You would like to live 200 years when none of your acquaintances, none of your childhood friends, none of the people who ever meant to you, nobody is there. What that life would be, 200 years. So these are the, so there is no research you can see that this is the research in biology and it has no implication in social science. This is research in genetic and it has no implication in society and social sciences. This is a medicine. Every research, and that's what, these are the eras which are era of interdisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, cross-disciplinarity, because you cannot live into a boundary defining subject specialization. I think days are gone ahead. There is a very interesting book I have read and fascinated by it. It is The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton, right? Who is making every declaration that every cell of your body is intelligent. And you must learn to respect that kind of thing. He is a biology, but he's talking about the belief. Questioning belief is centrally a subject of psychology. So interdisciplinarity. So even if you are doing research in social science and psychology, please also read books on history. Also read books on you know, the scriptures, our ancient scripture. Great treasure knowledge is hidden within it. And then you get an opportunity because the new knowledge will not come. I can give a name, and Professor Mishra is sitting here who taught us in BA. Not a worth the salt psychologist is trained as a psychologist. Whether you look at Skinner, look at Guthrie, Tolman, Chomsky, no one is trained. Hull was mine engineer, the great learning theorist. And he taught us in undergraduate that first lesson by getting training in psychology. Even Freud was not a psychologist. Freud was a physiologist, doctor. So cross-disciplinarity is going to give you a perspective which your own discipline will not give, right? Good mathematicians have been historians. So अपने आप को सिर्फ सब्जेक्ट की एक सीमा में बांध के रखना नौकरी उकरी पाने के लिए अच्छा है, पर रिसर्च के लिए अच्छा नहीं है. कि आपका इस पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट में नेट होना चाहिए तो आपको जॉब मिलेगी, लेक्चरशिप मिलेगी, पर जब आप रिसर्च करने आएंगे, अमाउंट ऑफ रिसर्च प्रोफेसर मिश्रा हैज डन विद द पीपल इन लिटरेचर, right? People in sociology, even he has been hobnobbing with anthropologists and also people in the literature, right? And the kind of work that he did was coming out the same perspective. When he was the vice chancellor of Varda University, many departments deliberately created, right? That you have to collaborate across your discipline in order to think fresh, in order to go out of box, in order to create a valuable and meaningful research. So my only you know, thought that I wish to share to the younger and the budding minds into the area of research, please think of going across discipline. Historical sense, I have been a student of history and philosophy, and I also, you know, learn a bit of Sanskrit just out of curiosity. so that being an Indian, my pronunciation of Sanskrit and भाषाओं पर मेरा अधिकार बिल्कुल जानदार और कलफदार होना चाहिए, ये धारणा, क्योंकि तभी आपको पढ़ा लिखा माना जाएगा. And the researcher need, you know, that kind of tools in his kitty, tools in his reservoir arsenal to do research. So your sensitivity to the data, your sensitivity, देखिए ये दो जिंदगी के बड़े important tools हैं. और एक M.H. Abraham की किताब है, 1958 की किताब है, The Lamp and the Mirror. And इससे both are tools of education. Lamp, which gives you light to see the things all around, and the mirror, which imitates reality, stand before the mirror. So either you look within at yourself and the research insights come, or you use a tool to tamasoma jyotirgamaya so that you can spread the light. You read the book, you will get a philosophy. That's what education means, enlightenment from the inside. And research is the biggest tool for creating that enlightenment, because research acts both. It acts as a lamp as well as mirror. शोध जो है वो एक दर्पण भी है जिसमें आप छवि देखते हैं, जहां ऑब्जेक्टिविटी और सब्जेक्टिविटी की चर्चा प्रोफेसर मिश्रा ने की, उसको रिपीट नहीं करूंगा. और दूसरी बात ये है कि उसी से आप अपने चारों तरफ जो अंधकार का जगत है उस पर रोशनी फैलाते हैं. कितने सारे अनुत्तरित प्रश्नों के उत्तर शोध ने हमें दिए हैं, अनंत अनुत्तरित प्रश्न, और अभी भी अनंत अनुत्तरित प्रश्न बाकी हैं. मंगल पर ग्रह घर बनाने की कल्पना हो रही है क्योंकि धरती प्रदूषित हो रही है, और इस पर काम कौन कर रहा है? रिसर्चर्स कर रहे हैं. ऐसा रॉकेट बना रहे हैं जो चांद पर जाए भी, आए भी, वो दोबारा भी चला जाए, कार की तरह हो जाए. The whole thing is imagination. If Wright brothers of thought of creating an aeroplane कि 1000 टन का लोहा हवा में उड़ेगा, who has ever imagined? So even if you have out of box ideas into the research, there is all the possibility that you may be criticized and told that this guy has lost his mind because you were thinking ahead of a time. So research is a journey which is based on accumulation of past experiences, but there is always opens up a new window in the future. And if you are trying to कालजयी अगर होना आप चाहते हैं, then only it is very important that past, present and future can be combined very beautifully into the realm of a research. So researcher एक तरह से त्रिकालदर्शी होने की भी चेष्टा है. बनता नहीं है कोई, कम लोग बनते हैं, वो अलग बात है, पर आइंस्टाइन जैसे बिरले लोग होते हैं. पर यात्रा हमें तो यही ठीक है कि मंजिल मिले न मिले इसका कोई गम नहीं, मंजिल की जुस्तजू में कारवां तो है. हम रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, उस रास्ते पे चल रहे हैं, एंड होपफुली आई वुड आल्सो बी एबल टू think out of box and maybe connect through interdisciplinarity, and I will be able to see which everybody else is seeing, but I will be thinking, right, which nobody else is thinking, and that's the fundamental of the research process. I am sure with the data, I have my own views about the higher end data processing, because after a point when data is become a kind of a statistical cobweb, and when you do structured equated modeling, it appears very appealing to you. But please make sure that your central question, central research concern is not getting lost into the complicated statistical juggleries, because statistics and advanced analysis is always a tool, and tool should never be allowed to overrule the master. Tool should be used as a tool. So all this advanced, even if you are doing qualitative analysis in vivo, which I do, the large scale data technique, and I'm sure your workshop will cover that in vivo, or bibliometrics, the new software that has come. So if you want to see that in this particular area, how many researches has been thrown worldwide, the entire bibliometrics, bibliography will come on your screen, and you can choose either arrange sequentially, you can then thematically organize. So reviewing literature, whether you want to do a descriptive review, you want to create a chronological review, or you want to create a critical review. And I think your session on critical session on review of literature will cover all those points, which I don't want to go into the details. But I find that initiating undergraduate students into the process of a research is the true demand. A new education policy is very clearly laid down. Higher education must have, right, an inevitable integral part of the research component. And if you are not doing that kind of a research, then your higher education degree is not very respectable and dignified. And I'm sure this workshop will help create those signposts, those lamps which will continue to guide the students of the undergraduate. I am thankful to Dr. Shalini Sharma, who invited me and gave me opportunity. And coming to Ramanujan College because of the love and affection given by Professor S.P. Agarwal as a principal, as a leader, is always very, added incentive. And you feel good that you are, becoming a part of the institution which are on the path of becoming a very, very great and very recognized institution in the future. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot. You have connected the research with the new education policy also, and the interdisciplinarity is the key. That's what I always try to tell my colleagues in the college, that let us leave these boundaries, because even in Delhi University we have created several departments of small nature, like in commerce, management, finance, business economics, something which was not desired. So these kind of barriers we have to break in order to do the meaningful research, and these youngsters should be exposed to this, that we need not restrict ourselves to the basic discipline. Of course, yes, basic discipline should be pursued, but let us also involve the thoughts and ideas from other disciplines. So thank you very much, sir.
The end of the inaugural session. So from my end, thank you so much, Girish Mishra sir, and Prakash sir. You have been really, really kind, sir. So sir, we are so thankful. We are so blessed, I must say, sir. And मैं ऐसे ही चाहूंगी कि आप दोनों ऐसे forever young बने रहें. और हम हमेशा हमें आपका जो enlightened आपके words हैं मिलते रहें, आपका आशीर्वाद हमें मिलता रहे. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shalini. Pranam, sir.
Thank you, Shalini.
Pranam, sir.
Namaskar.